Welcome once again to the Mask Fan Attic, high above the beautiful Horror Hotel building in Chatfield, Ohio, where we meet regularly to talk about interesting and noteworthy old Halloween masks. Now, tonight's mask is a real rarity. I'll bet you haven't seen many like it. It is in fact a Star Wars Jawa. That's J-A-W-A. Jawa. Now you may remember the Jawas from the original Star Wars 1977, which is also known as Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. But for many years it was simply known as Star Wars. Yeah. The Jawas were the little guys who lived in the desert, and well, you don't see many masks of them. This one was made by none other than Don Post Studios, the people who made outstanding, very cool Star Wars masks for many years. Now in 1977, when the first movie came out, which featured the Jawas, did you get that part? Okay. When the first movie came out in 1977, Don Post did a line of Star Wars masks that included Darth Vader, a Stormtrooper, Chewbacca, and 3PO, but they did not do a Jawa, did they? No. When did they finally do one? It's true, not until 1999. Much later. And the reason for that was the Jawa mask was part of a new series of Star Wars merchandising and promotional stuff, if you will, based on the fact that there was a renewed interest in the franchise because there was a new movie coming out for the first time in 16 years. In case you're not doing the math, the previous one would have been 1983 and 1999. This mask, among other Star Wars products and toys and collectibles, was designed to celebrate and coincide with the release of the first and most boring of the trilogy of prequels, which of course was Phantom Menace in '99. Now, this mask never took off. Now, a lot of people think it doesn't exist or think that Don Post never made a Jawa, because this never really went into production. I don't know how many were made, because there seems to be some difference of opinion on that. I've heard one, which is unlikely, because this would be it right here. And I've heard 6, and I've heard 15, and I've heard 20, but I don't know exactly how many, because people don't seem to agree on that. But I know not very many were made. It was in the 1999 Don Post Star Wars catalog. And well, it looked just like this in that catalog. Look at the picture in the catalog, you'll see it, and you'll believe me that this is one. Now, I think one of the reasons it didn't go into production, and this is just speculation, this is just my guess, I don't know why it never really went into production beyond those few prototypes and factory samples, but here's what I would guess. Because you see, it was promoted, but then it never officially came out, and I guess I should have said that. What happened was, it was in various distribution catalogs, and various sellers like Morris Costumes had it advertised in their catalogs, but then it never came along. It just went from, you know, back ordered to not available, and nobody much really got their Jawas. And I think some of the reasons for that might have been, firstly, that the guys in the movie, the Jawas, were like between 2 and 3 feet tall. And if you're like me and you're 6 feet tall, or if you're like one of today's typical teenage guys and you're 9 feet tall, you wouldn't make a very good Jawa. So it really should be maybe for kids or people who want to be like world's largest Jawa, like Jawazilla, like a Jawa with a glandular condition, some sort of growth hormone problem, you know. And but anyway, another problem I think is that you could fake the Jawas because for all intents and purposes they don't really have faces. It's just black there, unlike most aliens and creatures and monsters and strange characters. You could fake this, and I've seen people at conventions and Halloween parties and Star Wars events like movie premieres and things. I've seen people come as Jawas, and a lot of times what they would do is simply put on like a black stocking type mask and put 2 yellow LEDs or lights of some kind on it, or even just paint 2 yellow circles on there to look like eyes. So maybe people weren't willing to spend the money for the, or maybe When I say people weren't willing to spend the money, I'm talking about the retailers. The dealers who may have seen this at a trade show or some such place may have seen the prototypes and held them in their hands and thought, I don't need to order this. Maybe people won't buy it because you have to be 2 feet tall. And as you can see, yes, there's plastic bags falling out the bottom of this one. That brings us to the next problem that I think may have been an issue with the lack of success of the Jawa mask, is that it doesn't really hold its shape well. You know, most masks that are full head latex, if you just stick them on a styrofoam wig head, they're going to more or less look pretty much like they're supposed to look, right, on display. But if you take a thing that's an all fabric construct like this and put it out where the public can touch it and mess with it on display in your costume shop or your novelty shop, people are going to mess it up and, you know, get it all wrinkled and crinkled and throw it on the floor and let their dogs step on it and back their cars over it and so forth. And it's going to get messed up. And it's not as easy to display it and have it look really cool as it is with most masks that are full head latex or hard plastic or rigid vinyl like the Stormtroopers and Darth Vaders and Boba Fett's and that kind of mask. This one, a little harder to display. The only reason it looks like a Jawa right now in this video segment is because I've got a straight pin. I'll take that pin out just for you because I know you'd appreciate it. And show you what I mean. Put that pin right there. Save that for later. You see, the Jawa mask, as made by Don Post, it's really a great mask. I think it was a beautiful product, and I think a lot of Star Wars collectors would have liked one. But again, hard to display, hard to you know, showcase in your mask shop because it hangs funny. It's got all this weight here in the front, and that's a shame because it's beautiful fabric that they made it out of. I don't know if you can see the texture of that, but they used really nice stuff that's got a perfect, a nice woven textural look to it. And it looks sort of like burlap, but it isn't like that. It's actually much nicer than burlap, and it's softer, and it's a better fabric. But I think even that worked against them as far as selling this guy. I think even the fabric, because of having to match it to your costume. Because in the movies, the Jawas wear hooded robes, which means the robe would have to be made of the same thing as the hood. You're never going to find this exact fabric. So maybe they should have come out with a matching robe. Maybe it should have been part of a costume, but they didn't do that. They just did the mask, or tried to do the mask, and then you couldn't get a costume to go with it. So maybe that was a discouraging factor too, because maybe people thought, well, I'll never be able to find a robe that looks exactly like the fabric of that hood, and since they couldn't match it exactly, you know. Which again limits this back to Star Wars collectors who would just want one because it's a Don Post Star Wars collectible. Now, I said before how nice it is. Not only does the fabric look really nice quality, it's got a foam liner inside there that holds it in shape, and it's got black fabric all the way around the inside, so it's going to be comfortable to wear. It's going to hold its shape. You're not going to have the hood, you know, drooping and sagging and everything. It's going to keep this nice pointed look like in the films. And another problem is, I think, the lights. Okay, now here's how you can tell this is a Don Post Jawa and not somebody else's. If you look at the few pictures that exist of Jawa masks from Don Post Studios circa 1999. I almost said 89. 99. We'll fix that in the editing. I say that a lot, don't I? We never do it, I just say it a lot. Anyway, of Jawa masks from Don Post Studios circa 1999. If you look at the few pictures that exist of Don Post Jawas, you will see that this is how the eye lights were done with this sort of goggle effect. Large, round, yellow plastic tinted lenses, and then a round circle in the middle. A round circle, yeah, as opposed to a triangular circle. Sorry, just a circle. In the center, and then an LED, yellow LED light above that circle. You see that? There's a hole in the center, just like lifesavers, or lightsabers for that matter. There's a hole in the middle to see out of, and then there's a yellow LED light above that. And we're going to try turning it on. Now this took batteries, which go right here on the side, which is a little awkward because it's right there in your face. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that or not. It probably needs a fresh battery. You'd think I'd prepare for these segments, wouldn't you? Can you see that they're lit up? Take my word for it, they're lit up. See? There's on, there's off, on, off, on. You see? Very nice, really. Except I know people, my friends who have seen this make comments like, "Oh, it says on and off right there. There's a sticker where people can see it. You're not going to wear that, huh?" Well, it really isn't all that visible when the hood is pulled up, right? And you can always scrape that sticker off, or you could color over it with a black Sharpie, or you can glue a little piece of black paper or felt or something over it. It'll be fine. But anyway, the Don Post Jawa, had it actually gone into full production, would have looked a lot like this, and would have had these nice fitting goggles with a hole in the center and a yellow LED at the top. And I think it was a very nice mask, and I'm sorry that it didn't, you know, get to go into full production and make the world a more Jawa infested place, because it's a very nice mask. At the moment, I don't know anybody else who owns one, but I'm sure there are a few more out there. Keep checking eBay and places like that, and sooner or later you too may find a Jawa in your collection. Star Wars Jawa, Don Post, 1999 prototype. And now, let's see, what should I do next? Oh yeah, I guess I got a bit of a mess to clean up. Might as well get started.